I don't know where they are. Is the screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, fair enough. So, in the last sessions, we were discussing about the audit of an insurance company. So, we understand the legal and regulatory requirements. So, different laws are applicable, and regulatory requirements like registration, requirement as to the capital which is necessary for the performance sorry for the commencement of the business and for the constitution of an insurance business, so that is 100 crores, right? And then forms and contents of the finance statement as per section 11. Then audit is again a mandatory. Appointments of auditor, sufficiency of assets and solvency margin, that is very very important under the insurance business, and the company has to comply with this sufficiency of assets and the solvency margin, which is 150%. So you understand that solvency ratio very very important. Then inception of risk, when a particular risk is to be created, or you can say inception of risk means when the insurance company who is doing an insurance business accept the risk of the policy holder. So obviously the premium which is payable on the insurance policy, whatever it would be, whether it is a life insurance policy or uh, a general insurance policy. Then other significant provisions, reserves for unexpired risk, that we will learn that. Then this is the audit procedure in case of life insurance business. So that's what we have to start with today. Before that, still any one of you have any questions from any of the topics which we have covered? Any questions?
No
સર
questions.
Yes, beta.
સર તમે આ 150 સોલ્વન્સી રેશિયો કીધો તે જનરલ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ અને લાઈફ ઇન્સ્યોરન્સ બંને માટે સેમ જ છે?
Yes, it is currently it is the same. That is what is the overall ratio, right? That solvency ratio, the insurance companies may be a general insurance company or maybe a life insurance company, are required to maintain a minimum solvency ratio of 150%. Is it clear? So whatever the risk they have exposed, right, that they have to maintain.
ઓકે સર.
Fine. Any other questions? Okay,
No,
fine.
sir.
So let's start with audit procedure in case of life insurance business. Actuarial process. This actuarial process is actually technically very, very difficult uh, because there is an actuarial course. Those who are in experts in mathematics and those who are in, they able to do the complex calculations. Nowadays, most of the softwares are used, and because of the artificial intelligence, everything is actually done by the computer softwares. But whether at the development of a particular software, whether it is working appropriately or not, so these actuarial processes are now in becoming more and more important in the days to come. However, it should be challenged by the artificial intelligence at the same moment of time. But you can understand that artificial intelligence is also working as per the programming and the instructions and how it should be developed. So before I start with this, I would like to discuss about what is actuarial process, right? So all of you know that as we are talking about the life insurance business, here the life of a particular person has been insured, and for that purpose the insurance company is charging a premium. Now how that premium is required to be calculated, or what are the factors which are affecting the determination of the premium payable on a particular life policy? Now there are number of life policies are available. In routine there is a normal premium you have to pay, and whatever the premium every year you pay, uh, it based on that, your risk will be covered. So if there is an unfortunate event of a life, if a particular person loses life, then, you know, the insurance company will pay a certain amount to their, you know, the legal heads. So how that premium should be determined? So that is known as an actuarial process. So it depends number of factors, and they are all complex factors. Means and not only that, if there is no threats to life at the end of the maturity, you have to return the money along with the interest or bonus accrued on it. Now, suppose take a simple example that there is a 30 years, that there is a person whose age is 25 years or maybe 20 years, maybe 30 years, maybe 35 years. Everybody can take an insurance policy whenever they want to take it. So now, and suppose that tenure of the policy is 20 years or 35 years, 40 years. Nowadays, number of kind of policies are available, uh, which cover the entire life of a human being, right? So वो कितने साल तक जिएगा, that how many years that particular person is going to live, or uh, what is the probability? Here the probability will come into the picture. So whether there is a possibility that whether that particular person will die before the policy tenure, and what will be the interest rate, because whatever the premium is collected by the insurance policy, that will be kept and that will be invested in somewhere, right? So which will give the more return to the insurance companies, and then, you know, at the end of the maturity of the policy, you have to return with some amount of interest or bonus including into it. So obviously, whatever the premium is collected by the insurance companies will not be kept idle, and it is not an income. If that premium is required to be returned to the insurance policy holder, then you have to invest. So what will be the interest rate? What will the government policy? All of you know that yesterday the RBI raises the repo rate by 25 basis points. So 0.25% has been increased. So because of that, the interest rate will rise. So it would be very difficult. A number of factors, economic policies, situation we have recently have a corona situations. So there are a number of factors will affect the business. So that is known as an actuarial process. इन सबको सिमुलेट किया जाता है, सबको समझा जाता है, सबको कंसीडर करके एक इंश्योरेंस प्रीमियम की अमाउंट डिटरमाइन की जाती है जो सेटिस्फाइड करे. Itself is a very complex, right? So that's what it's required to be done. So if you look at the role of actuaries in life insurance business is to concentrate on the following key areas. These all are the key areas which will impact product development. What are the features of insurance policy? If you simply take a term insurance where the premium is not required to be written, but earlier the term insurance were of that kind of where there is a premium amount of small, but if there is any unfortunate event with the life, then a certain sum assured will be given to the policy holders legal heir. Nowadays, in case of term insurance also, the whatever the premium is paid by the insurance policy holder will be written at the date of maturity if that person survives. So product development and pricing and experience analysis. So different kind of insurance policy with different kinds of features are available. So that product development you take into consideration in case of the actuarial. Model development, which kind of model you will adopt. So whatever the premium is collected, how it should be invested, how much is invested in equity, how much is invested in debt security, how much is invested in 100% secured government securities, or so many things. Statutory valuation and reserving. What are the provisions for keeping certain amount aside? So reserving provisions, statutory business planning, solvency management, management reporting on various business valuation and profitability models of the life insurance business. So it looks very easy to write in examinations, right? If that question is asked, the audit procedure in case of life insurance business. But practically, in practical to implement all this is quite complex, right? So that's what is the so when the auditor will go for the purpose of audit, they also have to adopt all this into this country, what the actual process is. Here it is given is the role of the auditor to certify whether the actuarial valuation of liability is duly certified by the appointed actuary, including to the effect that the assumptions for which the valuations are in accordance with the guidelines and norms, if any, issued by the authority and or the Actuarial Society of India in concurrence with the IRDA. So this is very, very important. This itself is a one very good area of actuarial certificate, and there is an actuarial course is there. So they are doing the valuation because they take into consideration the number of assumptions. What will be the interest rate, right? What will be the life expectancy of an individual? General, what is the trend into the economy, right? Whether it is favorable or unfavorable, number of assumptions are done, and that assumptions have to take into consideration the guidelines and norms which is prescribed by the Actuarial Society of India and which is in consultation with the IRDA, right? For this purpose, the auditor generally rely on the certificate issued by the appointed actuary. Actuary is one kind of an expert. So we learn that the auditor can use the work of an expert. So actuary is nothing but one kind of an expert because he is expert in his own area of valuation of all this life insurance premium and everything. Certifying the policy liability. However, he may discuss with the actuaries with respect to the process followed and the assumptions made by him, her, or it, right? Generally, it is him or her or it. It may be a firm, it may be a company before certifying the policy liabilities. Right? So, उसके साथ discuss करना पड़ेगा. Obviously, auditor can use the work of experts, which is here in our case, it is the appointed actuary. But at the same moment of time, the liability will remain with the auditor if there should not be any non-disclosure of any particular information which is required to be provided as per the insurance business or as per the financial reporting framework which is applicable to the insurance company. So that responsibility will always lies with the auditor. It doesn't mean that if the actuarial failed to perform his duty inappropriately, then the auditor can take the shelter of it. It is not possible. So whatever the assumptions and process followed by the actuary appointed, right, and who is certifying a particular certificate, auditor has to review it. At least the auditor has to review and evaluate whether whatever the process is followed is appropriate in the given set of circumstances and the assumption adopted by the actuarial while valuing the liabilities, it is appropriate, right? So that responsibility will always remain with the auditor, right? And if the auditor is certified that and there is no suspicion in the mind of the auditor that the actuarial has not negligent in performance of duty, and then the auditor can rely on it. So if auditor is satisfied that the appointed actuary has performed his job well and he has exercised a reasonable care and skill while determining the liability of an policy, then obviously the auditor has a right to rely on the appointed actuary. Is it clear, dear students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's what we need to learn under this topic. Underwriting. Underwriting is a process of verifying the level of risk in each new entrant. underwriter assess the risk and determines the premium to be charged. The functions of the underwriter is to acquire or to write the business that will bring money to the insurance company, and to protect the company's business from the risk that they may feel will make a loss. So underwriting is a process of verifying the level of risk in each new entrant. So underwriter assess the risk and determine the premium to be charged. तो जो प्रीमियम होता है वो अंडरराइटर चार्ज करता है, एंड द फंक्शंस ऑफ अंडरराइटर इज टू एक्वायर एंड राइट द बिजनेस दैट विल ब्रिंग द मनी टू द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी, ऑब्वियसली. सो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी में से वो बिजनेस लेके आता है. व्हाट इज द रोल इन दैट रिगार्ड? टू रिव्यू द प्रोसेस ऑफ एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ रिस्क थ्रू द underwriting process, evaluate and test the effectiveness of the internal control in place to ensure the timely and accurate insurance policy adherence to the IRDA Act, Insurance and Regulatory Development Authority of India Act, right? And the rules and regulations made thereunder. So obviously the entire insurance business is regulated by IRDA. So an IRDA Act, the Insurance and Regulatory Development Act. So it should be in with that, and whatever the rules and regulations time to time which is published by the IRDA, it's duly complied with. Reinsurance, reinsurance bhi ho sakta hai, right? So whenever the insurance company issues a policy, they are taking, actually they are underwriting the risk. So they are accepting the risk of something. Reinsurance, it is a risk mitigating tool adopted by the insurer whereby the risk underwritten by one insurance is transferred partially to another insurance. As in the last lecture I told you, if Mr. Amitabh Bachchan will take right an insurance policy of a 500 crore rupees, generally a one insurance company would not be in a position to take that kind of a risk. So if there is a threat to the life of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan and some unfortunate event happens and the Mr. Amitabh Bachchan dies, then in that circumstances the insurance company have to pay a 500 crore rupees, which is a big amount, right? So in that circumstances, the one insurance company can, reinsure with the other insurance. So the 2 or 3 insurance companies comes together, right? Now sometimes for the celebrities and the big sportsmen like Virat Kohli, Amitabh Bachchan, right, Narendra Modi ji, politicians, right, those who are in the public domain, or those who are very 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 famous in the public, so their life insurance policy amounts will be very very high. So in that circumstances, 2 or 3 years, they don't afford to go to the all insurance. So there will be an insurance policy issued by one insurance policy, but the one insurance company will reinsure with the other insurance. So they will jointly, and whatever the premium they will charge, they will be shared with each other. So so that what is given. So underwritten by one insurance is transfer partially to the another insurer. Role of auditor to check and confirm that the reinsurance premium calculation and payment is in accordance with the agreement with the reinsurer. So there is an agreement between the two, and it should be as per that agreement. To check whether the necessary provisions have been made for the outstanding reinsurance premium and is properly accounted for in the books of accounts under the respective heads. So जो reinsurance है, now here maybe it is written in either of that, but अगर नहीं लिखा है तो मैं बता देता हूँ, पहले पढ़ लेता हूँ, right? To verify the agreement entered with the reinsurance, to verify whether the insurer has adhered to the terms and condition of the agreement, and to verify the payment made to the reinsurer. Okay, here it is given from the company who has reinsured his policies with some other insurance. But you need to understand in both the circumstances, there is a one company who has taken an insurance policy and they have partially reissued to the other insurance company. So this is the agreement, and in that circumstances, in that case, you have to see as an auditor all this. But what will happen if you are an auditor of a company who has assumed the risk from the other insurance. So suppose take an example, ABC company, insurance company has taken an insurance policy of a Sachin Tendulkar, and it is of a 500 crore rupees. And then they have, and they are charging the premium from Sachin Tendulkar, suppose a 1 crore rupees of a premium. Every year they are charging, because the risk covered is of a 500 crore rupees. But the ABC Limited is not able to bear that kind of an, the liability if there is unfortunate event or the Sachin Tendulkar dies in future. So what they will do, they will go to the PQR insurance company and they will partially, reinsure. So they will say that suppose when we are collecting 1 crore, you also assume the liability of 200 crore rupees. So out of 500 crore rupees, 200 crore liability will be transferred to PQR insurance company. And so obviously that 1 crore rupees interest which is charged by ABC insurance company to the Sachin Tendulkar will have to share with the, because otherwise the PQR insurance company will not take that responsibility of discharging of 200 crore liability. So suppose they have agreed to share suppose 40 lakh rupees of an insurance premium with the other insurer. So 1 crore will be recorded in the books of account of ABC Limited as an income, right? And but they have to pay that 40 lakhs. So that should be an adequate, the payment should be made to the reinsurance, means ABC Limited को PQR को बताना पड़ेगा कि इंश्योरेंस हुआ है, उसमें टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन एग्री होना चाहिए, एग्रीमेंट को वेरीफाई करना चाहिए, और it should be duly recorded in the respective. But what as an auditor, if you are an auditor of ABC Limited, you have to look into. But what will be if you are an auditor of a PQR Limited? In PQR Limited, you need to understand whether the terms and conditions are appropriate, and you have received here to verify the payment, in that whether you have received the payment from the insurer. तो जिसने इंश्योरेंस करवाया वहां से आपको प्रीमियम मिल गया. So both the way you can understand it, right? Free look cancellations. This is generally inbuilt, right, in the insurance policy. So whenever a particular person subscribes to an insurance policy, this free look cancellation is always given, and it is as per the IRDA Act. So free look cancellation is an option provided to the policy holder, wherein he has a period of 15 days. Generally nowadays it may be a 15 days, right? 30 days, sorry. 15 days तो इसमें लिखा है, लेकिन कई इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी में 30 days भी होते हैं. Free look cancellation is an option provided to the policy holder where he has a period of 15 days from the date of receipt of the policy document to review the terms and conditions of the policy, and in case of disagreement to any of the terms and conditions, he or she has an option to return the policy, stating the reasons for the policy cancellations. Free look cancellations request can be reviewed through any mode: mail, fax, letter, depending on the insurance policy. In case of written letters, the signature of the policyholder should be matched with the original proposal form. Free look cancellation request is processed only when the policyholder is not satisfied with the terms and conditions of the policy document, and not for any other reasons. Free look cancellations, refund is paid either by check, or in case of policyholder wants to direct credit, then consents for the direct credit along with the cancelled check for the bank account detail is submitted. So this is what is given. Nowadays, most of the company are providing 30 days. So nothing wrong in that. So generally insurance business में ऐसा होता है कि the agent of the insurance companies are, always giving you the good aspects of the particular policy. And generally while selling the insurance policy, they don't talk about the drawbacks of the insurance policy. So that you would be able to know within a 15 days. So that's the reason these are the 15 days is given. Number of the companies are giving 30 days. So within that 30 days, you have to read the terms and condition. It should be written. So if any policyholder has written it as an auditor, if you are an auditor of a company, it should be inbuilt into the insurance policy document that there is a free look cancellation period. And if anyone has subscribed to it, it should be duly complied with. The role of the auditor to check and confirm that the free look cancellation request are received within 15 days from the receipt of the policy document by the policyholder, to verify the signature of the policyholder and process of free look cancellation request within the time defined by the insurance, to check a recording of the appropriate accounting entries for the refund. So refund हो जाना चाहिए. Policy lapse and revival, है ना? So discontinuance of the policy owing to the non-payment of premium due is known as lapse. So if any insurance policy is in force and if the policyholder fails to pay premium on it, and whatever the free look period into that, right? Generally, a grace days are given, even if you missed out the due date. So once that due, the grace period is also over, then that policy lapse. So lapsation affects all the stakeholders, the policyholder, agents, because agent will not going to receive the premium, and the insurer. तो इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को इंश्योरेंस नहीं मिलेगा, उसकी भी सबको नुकसान होगा. A lapsed policy ceases to provide the insurance protections to the insured. जिसने भी इंश्योरेंस लिया है उसको प्रोटेक्शन नहीं मिलेगा. It forfeits the benefits under the policy and the cost of new policy is higher. The agent do not get the renewal premium commission if the policy is lapsed. The terms and condition of the policy stipulated that where the premium is not paid within the grace period, right? So generally, suppose your premium is due every of 10th of January. Suppose it is a annual premium payable policy. If it is a monthly payable insurance policy, every month it will be paid. So if you do not pay by 10th of day, suppose there is a 30 days is given. If it's annually, generally the 30 days is the grace period. So even if you don't pay by the 10th of January, still 10 days means 10th of February you have to pay. And if you do not pay within that period, it will be lapse, right? So premium is not paid within the grace period, the policy lapse. However, that grace period, I am saying 30 days, but it is from insurance to insurance company, it is different. So in some of the insurance company, it may be 15 days. Some of the insurance company, it may be 10 days. Oh, someone is trying to, okay, fine. How many students have joined? Okay, fine. So you need to understand that the grace period, the policy lapse, but may be revived during the lifetime of the life insured. So there is a revival process is also there. It is as per the rules and regulations. Some insurer do not allow the revival if the policy has remained in lapse condition for more than a specified period. So if it is lapse for 3 or 4 years, it could be. This is because of the possibility that the area of premium on such a policy would be too heavy and that it would be better to take out a fresh policy. क्योंकि उसके ऊपर जो पेनल्टी लगेगी, उसके ऊपर जो एक्स्ट्रा इंटरेस्ट लगेगा, that could be more than the new policy cost. So it is better to take a fresh policy. Role of an auditor to check and confirm that the due date are recorded and monitored properly and the policies are marked as lapsed and no receipt of renewal premium within the due date or grace period. उसके अंदर वो लिखा होगा, तो ऑडिटर को ये डॉक्यूमेंट वेरीफाई करना पड़ेगा. और nowadays it is in computerized system. So computerized system के अंदर उसके अंदर वो पॉलिसी को लॉक कर दिया होगा, है ना, उसके ऊपर लिख दिया होगा कि this is policy has been lapsed and the grace period is also over because of the non-payment of premium. So now the premium cannot be accepted. So even if the policyholder goes to the branches or they try to pay through online, it will not allow. So that what is all about. In case of revival request, check whether the adequate checks are in place for the receipts of the outstanding amount and adequate documents are obtained before reviving of the policy. So revival की procedure होगी, कितने period में revival हुआ है, that's all should be taken into considerations. So it should be duly as per the rules and regulations of revival. Just a minute, someone is coming, so I have to go over there. Just you can, by the time you can just read the policy surrender. Okay, fine. So I'm coming back. Someone is, someone was there. So I need anyway. So policy surrender, voluntary termination of policy contract before the expiry of the term of the contract is known as surrender of policy. So if someone don't want to continue with the policy, they have a right to surrender the policy. The policy becomes eligible for surrender on the completion of 3 years from the commencement of the policy, provided that the 3 years premiums have been paid within the due dates. So the policy holder has to submit the surrender request form duly signed off by him, her, along with the original policy document and the discharge vouchers. So these are the, nowadays that is completely online. अभी online भी हो रहा है, लेकिन उसके अंदर आपको सारे confirmation OTPs, राइट, आपका लॉगिन आईडी, ओटीपीज और कैंसिल चेक स्कैन करके देना पड़ेगा. सो दिस ऑल शुड बी डन, राइट. सो but as what is the role of an audit? So every policy holder has a right to surrender if the policy is last for 3 years and the premium on it is paid within the due date. So without any default, it is paid within 3 years, then it is allowed to be surrendered. So any policy can be surrendered. Now this, because of the budget budget of 2023, I'm just guessing, I'm not sure about it, but that what I looking to that, because the new tax regime has become a new default model. So it is a default, or new regime is which under which there is no deduction under section 80C is allowed. So earlier the people was buying the insurance policy to have a dual advantage. One, they are claiming the deductions under the section 80C while calculating the taxable income. So they are going to save the tax, and they are at the same moment they protect their life as well. So the dual advantages are there. Now, as per the budget proposal of 2023, the new tax regime will become the default. And under the new tax regime, as the basic exemption, actually it is goes to 7.5 lakh if it is a salary income. So those who have salary income, actually their income is not liable to tax up to 7.5 lakhs. The reason is standard deduction is there. So even if you calculate the standard deduction, it comes to 7 lakhs, there is no tax. Otherwise, there is a 5 lakhs. Right, so the 5 lakhs to 7 lakhs, 1.5 lakh of 80C. So premium paid on it will be allowed at it, which is covered. So the people will not ready to, because if they move to the new regime, why they invest, right? So they may surrender. So those who already adequate insurance have, so they are going to surrender the insurance policy. That could be one of the reasons I am saying, though not applicable to everyone, but some of those who don't want to claim any deductions, they will surrender. Why they pay the interest if they were sufficiently covered by the other insurance policies, or the term insurance if they are covered. So 3 साल हो जाने चाहिए. So in that, what is the role of an auditor? तो ये थोड़ा बढ़ेगा मेरे हिसाब से. तो अगर इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी का काम होगा तो ये बढ़ने वाला है. Or all of you should know, those who are right, the role of auditor: check and confirm that the surrender requests are received from the policyholder only. Check that the adequate controls are in place to ensure the proper verification process for checking of request, whether the premiums are paid on regular basis, to check whether the surrender amount is paid only to the policyholder and is paid only as per the terms and conditions mentioned in the policy document. Generally, whenever the policyholder surrenders the policy, they are going to lose a lot of money, because if you surrender, whatever the premium you have paid, there will be a huge amount of deductions into it. So generally it is not in the interest of the policyholder. But if they don't want to continue and pay for the long period of time, means for the tenure of the policy, then obviously we cannot decide, okay, which is best. But if the policyholder is of the opinion that it is better to surrender the policy, they can. But as an auditor, you need to understand it should be as per the rules and regulations, and the surrender value which is determined. There are rules and regulations which is mentioned under the policy document. So all of you at your home, if your parents have already buy a particular insurance policy of their life, if just you go through that, there is how the surrender value will be determined. It is mentioned clearly into it. right? So you need to and the surrender value should be determined in that fashion only, in that terms and condition only. To check whether the appropriate accounting entries are passed. Is it clear, dear students? Any questions till the moment?
No questions.
Yes.
Yes. No questions, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So premium collections. Premium refer to the consideration received by insurance company from the policyholder. Premium है ना, income is recognized as new business premium, premium received for the first policy year, that is known as a new business premium, क्योंकि वो नया बिजनेस दे रही है इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के लिए, इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी जितनी बेचेंगे, that is a new business. So new business premium is the first year premium, premium received for the first year policy, and renewal premium, premium received for the subsequent policy years, that is known as a renewal premium. So the premium is classified into two categories. Premium received but not identifiable against any policy would be treated as unallocated premium or suspense amount. अभी ये पहले ऐसा था, आज के जमाने में एवरीथिंग इज कंप्यूटराइज, सो दैट इज नो, पहले ऐसा था कि पता ही नहीं चलता है कि किस पॉलिसी के सामने ये पैसा आया है, बिकॉज इट वाज मैन्युअली, बट अभी तो ये पॉसिबल नहीं है. Role of auditor: collection of premium, to check that the premium collections are credited to the separate bank account and no withdrawals are normally permitted from that account for meeting the general expenditure. So whenever the insurance policy comes, there is a separate account for collection of premium. So nothing should be, withdraw from that. So it will clearly say that these are the collection of premium, and then there is a budget. All other expenses are there. There should be a sanctioning authority. They will sanction the author, and they will sanction the money, and then appropriate amount will be transferred by the others. But there is no okay. एक ही account में से expense भी हो रहा है और उसमें premium आ रहा है. So premium account should be separate. It is normally a practice. To check the existence of appropriate mechanism to ensure all the collections are deposited into the bank on a timely basis. To check whether there is daily reconciliation process to reconcile the amount collected, entered into the systems, and deposited into the banks. Right? Again, it is a partially, because ये तब था जब कलेक्शन होता था, सिस्टम के अंदर एंट्री हो जाती थी, फिर बैंक अकाउंट में डिपॉजिट करने जाते थे. नाउ डेज इट इज ऑनलाइन, एवरीथिंग इज डन थ्रू एन ऑनलाइन मोड. लेकिन इसके अंदर भी आपको ये देखना है कि देयर शुड बी अ सफिशिएंट सिस्टम इज वर्किंग अप्रोप्रिएटली और नॉट. कैलकुलेशन ऑफ प्रीमियम: to check the accounting system calculates the premium amount and its respective due dates correctly, because nowadays system will show okay which policy के ऊपर कितना प्रीमियम अवेलेबल है. तो जो पॉलिसी इश्यू हुई थी उसमें जो लिखा है और जो सिस्टम बता रहा है वो दोनों सेम होना चाहिए. ऑब्वियसली कैलकुलेशन ऑफ प्रीमियम मींस ऑडिटर विल नॉट कैलकुलेट द प्रीमियम, राइट. यहाँ पे जो सिस्टम कैलकुलेट कर रही है वो करेक्टली कर रही है, उसके बारे में बात है. एंड इन इट्स respective due dates correctly. To check that the system is equipped to calculate all types of premiums mode correctly, whether it is semi-annual, quarterly, monthly, annually, whatever it would be. Recognitions of income: to ensure that the premium is recognized only on the basis of the issued policy and not underwriting dates. तो जब इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी इश्यू हुई वहां से ही होना चाहिए. To check that there is an appropriate mechanism in place to conduct the reconciliation on a daily basis and reconciliation items, if any, are rectified or follow up. अगर कुछ रह जाता है तो it should be correctly rectified it. Accounting of advance premium. Some of the policies are giving you the advance policy, right? आपने पढ़ा होगा पहले 5 साल इंश्योरेंस पेड करो, उसके बाद आपको 30 years तक पेड करने की जरूरत. These all are known as the advance premium. To check whether the system has capability to identify regular and advance premium. To check whether there is a process of applying the advance premium to a contract where the premium is due. So that's what you have to see. Then claims. Obviously, if the insurance policy is in dispute, there may be a cases of claims. The primary objective of audit of life insurance company is checking of the accuracy of the processing and accounting of claims with a focus on the following. Claim settlement ratio plays an important role. अगर आपने insurance generally those who are selling the life insurance policy, particularly the term insurance, the claim settlement ratio plays an important role. So generally it is 98% or 99%, then it should be treated as good. If it is 100%, it is best one to buy it. क्योंकि वहां पे कोई भी प्रॉब्लम होता नहीं है. क्लेम सेटलमेंट रेशियो बहुत ही अच्छा होना चाहिए. क्लेम लॉन्च है ना, लॉन्चमेंट एंड प्रोसेसिंग, authority for approval of claims, review of payouts and disbursement, review of compliances to statutory requirements and applicable IRDA regulations, review of reinsurance claim and review of reporting claims. So this all should be subject. तो जब भी कोई इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी होल्डर अगर क्लेम लॉन्च करता है तो उसका जो ओरिजिनल इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी हैज टू सबमिट, ही हैज टू सबमिट अ क्लेम फॉर्म, प्रोसेसिंग होता है, फिर वो सारी डिटेल उसके अंदर जाती है, फिर उसका ऑथोराइजेशन होना चाहिए, फिर उसका पेमेंट हो जाना चाहिए, डिसबर्समेंट हो जाना चाहिए, उसके अकाउंट पॉलिसी होल्डर के अकाउंट में पैसे आ जाने चाहिए. दैट ऑल विल बी सब्जेक्ट टू रिव्यू बाय द ऑडिटर. द रोल ऑफ द ऑडिटर, review the standard policy document to ensure that the policy document prescribe the minimum documentary evidence needed to support the claim. Generally it is the original insurance policy is the important document. Then obviously जिस बैंक अकाउंट में पैसा देना है तो verification of means KYC of, generally the KYC is done at the time of issue of policy, but if it is not appropriate at that moment of time and then at the time of claim again the Aadhaar card or PAN card copy can be asked, or the payment or disburser form जो claim form होता है it should be duly filled with correct information. गलत information डाल के नहीं होने चाहिए. If it is a term insurance, that certificate, right, because there are certain terms and conditions जिस वजह से policy issue की गई है. So if it is a term insurance and there is a death of a person, obviously that certificate plays an important role. Or medical certificate, if it is an accidental death, the certificate issued by the hospitals, if it is an accidental death, that plays an important role. That will justify that the policy is matured and sum is payable. So that document is required to be attached to it. So minimum documentary evidence needed to support the claim. So different case of situation, different. If it is a normal life insurance policy and the maturity comes, then obviously only KYC is needed. Policy is matured and you have to return the money. So same way. To ensure that the insurance company maintains a register of claims in which every claim is entered along with the necessary details. Review the reasons for the rejections in case of rejection of claim. अगर claim reject करते हैं insurance company तो उनको reason देना पड़ेगा, कोई option नहीं है, right? Ensure the complete recording of all claims received. जितने भी claim आए, चाहे वो reject करे, चाहे वो payment करे, उनका record रखना पड़ेगा, right? So later on, if there is any inquiry, it can be reviewed why it is so, whether accepted or rejected. Ensure that the appropriate provisioning has been carried out in case of claims intimated but not paid. Intimate हो गया है claim, लेकिन अभी तक आपने payment किया नहीं है, तो उसका भी provisioning करना पड़ेगा. Ensure that the cost of claim includes the claim settlement cost. अगर claim settlement cost है तो जो भी होता है वो भी आपको करना है, transfer charges है, जो भी है. Ensure that there is a system of regular reconciliation is carried out between the claims management system and the general ledger. अभी तो सब computerized होता है तो ये reconciliation it will be done by the systems. हाँ, it should be verified. And audit जो भी एक, there is a concerned persons in the insurance company who is looking after the regular reconciliations, whether he or she has carried out or it not, and whatever the document is prepared for reconciliation, it should be duly verified by the auditor. Ensure that the liability of claim should be booked net of reinsurance. अगर reinsurance किया है तो liability net of होनी चाहिए, right? That is simple to understand. Investment, this is very, very important. Huh? The most important is claim and premium, obviously, but investment is also important. That will be leads to the survival of an insurance company they would be able to maintain the solvency ratio. Investment. The investment portfolio of the life insurance companies comprises of the stakeholders' funds and the policyholders' fund. Policyholders' funds can further be segregated as linked or non-linked. So there are ULIPs, and a unit-linked insurance policy, and non-unit linked insurance policies, so linked and non-linked. So policyholders' fund can further be segregated as linked and non-linked. Investment regulations are prescribed for different categories of investments. IRDA, Investment Regulations 2000, gives the details of patterns in which the funds of life insurance policy should be kept invested at a given point of time. So जो भी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी में जो भी इंश्योरेंस बिजनेस करते हैं उनको ये गाइडलाइंस है, और वो गाइडलाइन के हिसाब से ही उनको वो करना है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे पब्लिक का पैसा यूटिलाइज हो रहा है. कोई भी इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी, चाहे वो पब्लिक सेक्टर कंपनी हो, पब्लिक सेक्टर इंश्योरेंस कंपनी हो, LIC हो, या फिर प्राइवेट सेक्टर इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी, लोगों के पैसे इन्वॉल्व है, और लोगों के उन्होंने उनको जो रिस्क है उनको उसको प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी ली है. सो देयर इज, इट शुड बी इफेक्टिवली रेगुलेटेड. So there are number of rules and regulations are there, and based on that the life insurance policy has to work. Is it clear, dear students? समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It should be invested at a given point of time. The role of auditor to review the management structure. Okay, management structure क्या है? Of the adequate segregations of, है ना? तो जो भी हमने aggregate segregations of premium policy holders fund है, right? है ना? Due between the investment offline mode, है ना, और mid of, थोड़ा पढ़ने में थोड़ा difficulty हो रही है, but it is the same things कि जो भी पॉलिसी होल्डर का फंड है वो सेग्रीगेट हुआ है, लिंक्ड और इन लिंक्ड का मतलब ऐसा होता है वो मार्केट लिंक है, वो पैसे कहीं पे इन्वेस्ट होते हैं और वो इन्वेस्टमेंट में जो रिस्क है उसके साथ वो लिंक्ड है. और नॉन लिंक मींस वो उसके अंदर रिटर्न कम होगा बिकॉज इट इज विल बी इन्वेस्टेड इन अ फिक्स्ड मोड, right? So that's what the auditor has to verify. Then review the operating procedures as per the IRDA Act or regulation. Means this IRDA Investment Regulation Act 2000, it is a detailed guidelines. It itself is a one carrier. ये सारी चीजें carrier है, right? तो वो पढ़ना चाहिए, right? उसके हिसाब से होना चाहिए. And to review the investment policy, and every insurance company have their own investment policy which is in align with the IRDA Investment Regulations 2000. तो उसके अलाइन होगी, उसी हिसाब से वो होनी चाहिए. To review the functioning and scope of investment committee, तो जो investment policy बनाई है, generally insurance policy will be determined by the governing body, means board of directors. इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के अंदर जनरली बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स, दे विल डिजाइन द इन्वेस्टमेंट पॉलिसी. ये रेगुलेटर IRDA इन्वेस्टमेंट रेगुलेशंस 2000 तो बहुत ही वाइड होगा कि जो भी प्रीमियम आता है इंश्योरेंस कंपनी के पास उसमें से वो किस तरीके से इन्वेस्टमेंट कर सकते हैं. There are certain insurance policy are aggressive in nature and some are conservative investment process. Means conservative के अंदर जो भी इन्वेस्टमेंट पॉलिसी होल्डर का फंड है वो गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी में जाता है, तो उसके अंदर रिटर्न विल बी 5 to 6%. लेकिन जो एग्रेसिव इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी होती है वहां पे इन्वेस्टमेंट इक्विटीज शेयर्स में भी जाता है. LIC भी अपने पैसे बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियों में स्टॉक मार्केट में लगाता है. दैट ऑल आर एग्रेसिव. अगर इक्विटी मार्केट है, क्योंकि वो कभी भी हो सकता है, जैसे कि आपने पढ़ा होगा न्यूज़पेपर में अभी रिसेंटली LIC lost or LIC have brought 3,500 crores rupees of shares of an Adani enterprise. Now Adani is on fire actually right now because of the Hunger Bugs report. But you can understand that is the policy structure or policy investment policy adopted. Obviously it is in line with the investment regulation 2000. लेकिन अपनी होगी तो वो आपको as an auditor I have to review that policy, to review the functioning of the investment committee. Investment committee क्या है, उनका रोल क्या है, उसके functioning क्या है. To check the compliance of the investment regulations, ऊपर जो दिया है वो. To review the cash management system to track the funds available for investment considering the settlement obligations and subscription and redemption of units. रिडम्पशन ऑफ यूनिट्स यहाँ पे नहीं होता है, यहाँ पे रिडम्पशन ऑफ पॉलिसीज होता है, मीन सरेंडर वैल्यू होती है, तो फिर आपको उसके लिए भी सफिशिएंट पैसे चाहिए. सो कैश मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम क्या है? टू रिव्यू द फंड वाइज रिकंसिलिएशंस विद द इन्वेस्टमेंट accounts, banks and custodian records, to ensure that there is a split between the shareholders and policyholders fund and earmark securities between the various funds, namely the life participating and non-participating, pensions and group participating and non-participating, and in a unit linked fund. So number of types of policies are there, and based on that it should be adequately segregated. To review the arrangement and reconciliations of holding with the insurance custodian, to review and check the insurance investment accounting and valuation policies, to review the control around the personal dealing and insider training. ये नहीं होना चाहिए because SEBI is very strict into this, and there is a huge penalty, right? So that is all about. Then obviously commission payable to the agent. Insurance business is generally solicited by the insurance agent. Nowadays it is gone. Zero insurance commission policies are there. If you go to the website of the insurance policies, most of the private sector or LIC, you can directly buy from the insurance companies without any agent. So there is no, but earlier it was not there, and the large number of populations of our country are not able to understand the terms and conditions which is mentioned. So, and the agent are helpful while issuing the policy and at the time of claim. So it is the main role of the agent to help the policyholder at the time of claim settlement, which kind of document is to be provided, and so forth. So obviously, if it is sold through an agent, the commission is payable to the agent. The remuneration of the agent is paid by way of commission, which is calculated by applying a percentage to the premium collected by him or her. Agency commissions contribute toward the significant portion of the expenses incurred by the insurance commission. Commission is payable towards the generation of a new business and towards the settlement of renewal premium. But अब धीरे धीरे ये जा रहा है, कमीशन लोगों का कम हो रहा है, और people are becoming more and more aware, everything is available online. तो अभी वो थोड़ा चेंज हो रहा है. Role of the auditor: review the system established by the insurer with respect to the calculation of commission to the eligible agent accurately and processing the same in a timely manner. Review the commission payment system is in sync with the premium collection system. Check whether the commission paid is within the limit prescribed under the Insurance Act. Check whether the commission is clawed back on a cancelled policy. है ना, तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. And check the completeness of the commission processing system. तो उनका calculation system बहुत अच्छा होना चाहिए. It is very easy to understand, so I am not discussing much. Then operating expenses, है ना. So all administrative expenses are broadly classified under 14 heads. I think you already learned at TYBCom in insurance accounts, right? So this administrative expense have been classified under 14 heads, as mentioned in Schedule 3, forming part of the financial statements. So here the Schedule 3, which is a format of financial statement, given under Schedule A to the IRDA, preparation of financial statement and audit report of the insurance company regulation 2022. तो उस हिसाब से ही operating expense classify होने चाहिए. That is what is the role of the auditor. वो भी यहाँ पे ही लिखा होगा role में. This schedule is a part of revenue account to be prepared for the insurance business. Any other expense are required to be disclosed under the other heads. Any major expense of rupees 5 lakhs or in excess of 1% of the net premium, whichever is higher, are required to be shown separately. This is what is the disclosure requirements. Right? So obviously, as an auditor, this is all to be complied by the insurance company. It is the responsibility and duty of the insurance company to comply all these requirements. Auditor, as a role of auditor will ensure that they are complying with all the requirements. To ensure that the operating expense are first aggregated and then apportioned to the revenue account of each class of business on a reasonable and equitable basis as per the rules. हम वो नहीं पढ़ सकते क्योंकि वो बहुत ही बड़ा है. To ensure that the accounting policy should clearly indicate the basis of apportionment of these expenses to the respective revenue accounts. That means participating and non-participating policy, and in between the linked and non-linked business, along with the certificate that all the expenses of management, wherever incurred, directly or indirectly, read with the accounting policy, have been duly debited. So duly debited to the respective revenue account as expense. So that's what the auditor has to see. समझ में आ रहा है बच्चों?
Yes, sir.
Right. So that's right. And then specific control procedures relating to the general insurance business. So again, it is the
Sir.
same. Yes.
Sir, हमारा लेक्चर है 10 बजे.
हाँ मुझे पता है. I know that. I'm going to close the session. Don't worry. Right. ये बात अच्छी है. सारी रिक्वेस्ट मुझे ही आती है ना. कोई टीचर कोई भी टाइम पे लेक्चर रखता है. Everything I have to have. Even I don't have the opportunity to take the offline lectures because I have other duties. Even other teachers are arranging all the duties. I don't know. The students are asking me to compromise everywhere. Anyway, I know that. But this is what I would like to tell that यहाँ तक ही आपके सिलेबस में है इस टॉपिक के अंदर, इंश्योरेंस के टॉपिक के अंदर. फिर स्पेसिफिक कंट्रोल ऑफ जनरल इंश्योरेंस बिजनेस हमने लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कवर किया. जनरल इंश्योरेंस में छोड़ रहा हूं बिकॉज ऑफ द टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट. इज इट क्लियर?
सिलेबस खत्म हो गया सर?
नहीं हुआ अभी तक, खत्म नहीं हुआ है. हाँ, मंडे ट्यूसडे वेडनेसडे के लिए सिलेबस खत्म हो चुका है क्योंकि उनको लिए मैंने सब कुछ पढ़ा दिया है. लेकिन थर्सडे फ्राइडे सैटरडे वाले बच्चों के लिए मुझे आगे का पढ़ाना है. इज इट क्लियर?
ओके सर.
यस सर.
यस सर. यस सर.
इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी में जनरल इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी के बाद नहीं है सिलेबस में. ठीक है?
ओके सर. जनरल या लाइफ सर?
लाइफ के बाद नहीं है, मींस जनरल से नहीं है. सॉरी.
ओके ओके.